So now we are already a bit warmed up. Hopefully the sound is more in the direction that we like. Maybe we feel that the breath is working, maybe that the lips are more in tune, they're strong but flexible. We feel more awake. So we can go maybe one step further, maybe a bit more challenging, and we can go, for instance, to try to work on our tonguing. Now, tonguing is a big topic. We want to achieve many different things. One of them, maybe the first, not necessarily, but one option, is just to check a single slow tonguing to see that the sound speaks well. We find a very good meeting point with the flute. For instance, this one was not so good. Did you hear? What I'm trying to achieve is not much yet, it's just that the notes speak when I want, not before, not after, and that I get a good center to the sound, I get a nice formation to the embouchure, and I get a good meeting point. When I have a good meeting point, the sound then is where I want it to be, and then I can do almost whatever I want. When you don't get it, then you have problems. You try to correct, you try to move, you try to change. We don't want that. So just a simple slow tonguing. You can, for instance, this was an A. I can say, okay, today I start with an A and go over all the flute. Maybe tomorrow I take a different note. I started with a C sharp. It's not the nicest note to practice, but it's important to practice it, to see that we get a good attack. Or E, second octave, reacts totally different. We have to get used to it. Okay, so I would spend maybe 5–10 minutes with this kind of exercise. Of course, tonguing has a lot more to it. We have single tonguing, we have double tonguing, and also one has to remember that between staccato and legato, there are many different ways of attacks. So for instance, if I would take a scale, let's say I take a Tafanel Goubert, I hope you know this exercise, but if not, it's okay. You can take whatever scale you want. And then I do some kind of development of the articulation. So I go over many different types of articulation. So for instance, I started with legato just to warm up. Then I will do this is not yet tonguing, it's just separating with the diaphragm to wake the diaphragm up, to say, okay, it should work. When this works well, maybe after 2 scales, I add my tongue. But I keep reminding myself that the air is always behind the tongue. So this was single. If it doesn't work yet well, I can do a mid exercise between the hu and the tu. I combine them. So I do hu, tu, and then maybe tu. So not to get used only to one, but always balance it with the opposite. So then I have the tu. If it works well, maybe I should work on the Q a little bit. Why do I work on ku? The ku by itself, we never use. But the problem is that since we use tu much more than we use the ku, most players have a better tu than a ku. So if I practice the ku by itself, I improve the ku. Yeah? The problem with using ku or using tu ku is that the ku, depending on your mother tongue again, the ku in many languages, for many people, is too far back, and the tu is in front. And then in some poor cases, you hear tu, ku, and then they sound too different. So I try to get a place for the ku which is as frontal as I can, so it meets the tu. They are very near. So when I finally, after I did tu and ku, I start to combine them. And my ideal is that they sound a bit more equal, okay? So we have the tu, we have the ku. Of course, we can practice different articulations. For instance, détaché, or legato staccato. When we combine already legato and staccato, we have another challenge, because it's easier normally for most of us to play legato, and then the change to staccato is hard. Okay, so this is the place to put our awareness. So there are many different articulations. We don't have to do all of them in one day, as we did before with the long notes exercises. We put our awareness in different places. So maybe today I just want to work on my diaphragm, or maybe I want to work on my tu, or maybe I want to work on my double staccato, or détaché, or legato staccato, maybe triple staccato. It's more rare, but if I play we need that too. So it's basically based on double staccato, just we have to repeat one of them. Huh? Tutukutu, 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 tutukutu. Or the tukututu, tukututu, tukututu. It's a bit individual, what is more comfortable for you. So this would be tonguing, I would say, another 20 minutes, but if you have time, you can spend 30, 40 minutes, even an hour just on tonguing, because tonguing for many different styles of music will be always very important and in use.